3 underway. This is the finals for the EnerJ Cup, and I don't know what it is. This cup has just got me super hyped. I don't know if it's you guys in chat. I don't know if it was so fast or the fact that we've had fantastic games all day. But I am just in like the best of moods right now, and I can't wait to see how this game goes. Spawning in the top right corner of the map, it is the player from My Insanity, none other than Stardust. Stardust! Find him on Twitter at StardustSC2. His opponent in the lower left. Hang on. In a world where Protoss all in you every game, there's one champion to hopefully defend it all against all odds. The man who said he was retired. He was out of the game. Back in full force. It is Dignitas Tefel. Find my Twitter at Dignitas Tefel. I was going for movie announcer. It didn't really work out. I apologize. It's like you do those awkward things and like you're already so committed you can't really back out. But okay. Tefel's definitely got to change something in this game, and I think the number one thing he needs to do is scout. Whether it's with a drone, whether it's with the Overlord. I mean, you can't mess up the scout on this map at the very least. He's got that much going for him. The biggest thing about all-ins, so let's talk about this realistically here. Jokes aside, cheese, nicknames, whatever, one of the biggest things is if you see an all-in coming and you prepare for it, all you have to really do is defend. If you hold against an all-in, you'll typically end up being a little more economically stable than your opponent, and you can kind of ride that to victory. But if you can't hold that all-in, obviously you take these crazy losses, and one gateway this time, you know what, this is, or one assimilator this time, I think Stardust is going to expand, and this is, that quote, I always mess the quote up, Artosis said it, it's something along the lines of like, the cheesiest thing a cheeser can do is play a macro game. And that's what Stardust may be going for, is he's going to be taking that quicker expand. Now, that doesn't mean he's not going to all in still. You can do 7 gates off of 2 bases early on like this and still smother your opponent. But Tefel, I don't know. I just hope he's ready for this. I want to see more games out of it. Like, Tefel recently won like this Polish land where he got like 500. It was like, I don't know the name of the Polish currency, but like it's $500 US, so like a ton of Polish money on top. He's a good player. He wins games. It's just he's getting caught off guard by these all-ins. All right, next is coming down really quick as predicted. I'm just trying to think like Stardust's best bet out of this game, right? So again, like whether it's because he's up 2-0 or he wants to try and find his opponent preparing for an all-in that's not coming, Stardust is going to be playing this out a little more macro-oriented. Now, this really depends on what he does after this. He is chronoing out that warp tack, so he may still try and go for a little bit of extra gateway aggression here in the early game. But what's nice is if you're on 2 bases, a 4 gate's no longer all in, but just an insanely strong attack. Do we have any pylons set up? Zealot's going to kind of guard this around. Cheese dust. That's stanky cheese. Yeah, I don't know. Love them, hate them, the tactics work, and that's the bottom line. Like, there's some things in StarCraft 2 where manners are a big precedence, right? But when money's on the line, like, I've always been, like, okay, I love players, I love StarCraft 2, this is where my heart lies on all these wonderful things, but sometimes I think players are really stupid. Like, as nice as it is to give re-games for when people mess up, or like, accept def wins, def losses, whatever, if you're not, like, when money's on the line and your team is expecting you to win, like, I like what Stardust does. I think this is what makes him a really good player, because statistically he wins a lot. I mean, he just won, like, this big, Euro turn, was it Frag Bite, I think, right? Anyways, like, it's not, it's the results that people look at. They don't remember the games. They don't remember that it was a 4-gate that ended the life of, like, Tefel. It's, oh, Stardust won EnerJ Cup. That's all that matters. So, Tefel, of course, preparing for this time. He's got some links, some queens to the front line. Roaches are on the way. Not here yet, but... So you can do. Of course, for the loser of this series, I'm not trying to talk down as if Tefel's already out. He's not. But I'm saying the loser of the series, of course, let's not forget, gets $50. So whether it's Stardust or whether it's Tefel, they still walk away with money. $100 to first place, of course. Like this cup has the biggest prize pool of any weekly cup. And of course, energy drinks on top of that. I don't even know what their value is, but energy drinks over here in Canada are very expensive, like $3 a can type thing. So you can only imagine that there's some definite value, some worth. Now, it looks like the Nexus is going to be given up, but the pylon's taken down, which means no more reinforcements. However, this is still a lot of Zealots, and until roaches are out, there's no real good way to connect to this. And I didn't even catch this, but Stardust actually put a pylon so close to the hatchery that it actually beats the creep. Now, he's trying to focus the mothership core down, but with this time warp, he's got to be so careful with the way he engages this. He doesn't want to give up the hatchery for free, but at this point, it's gone. And I think he has to accept that. Still taking some losses, being forced to fight these Zealots. Roaches will be able to kite on creep, especially here. Nice transfuse on that queen, but the Lings have pretty much died at this point. There's so many Zealots in this force. And a recall. Oh, Stardust, you maniacal, evil son of a... Tefel right now won't be too happy about that, of course. Stardust, with that massive recall, does get home with a lot of these units left intact. And that's going to be rough for Tefel, because now the option of a counterattack's not really even there. Like, let's say Stardust gets trapped down here, and he can't push out, he can't push in. Tefel goes for a counterattack, kills a lot of units, evens up the game. But because of that recall, he can't even break into this. I mean, the Immortal's popping out. The timing on this is perfect. A Chrono Boost on a second Immortal, knowing that roaches were made with lots of sentries. Tefel, at this point, God, it's almost hard to see what he could do. He could go for Hydralisk. It's kind of the go-to, right? That's why we see the layer on the way, and I think that's what his goal is. But with the timing of the game being as early as this is, I would love to see Burrow Tunneling Claws. I think Burrow plus Tunneling Claws may be his best way to defeat a Sentry Immortal follow-up to this, especially if Stardust is going to all in it. 2 more gateways are coming down on top of the 4 he has, so that's going to be 6 in total. We might see gateway number 7. I don't know. We'll have to wait a moment and see. But still, that's a lot of aggression to follow this up. That, quite frankly, I don't know if Tefel will be able to hold, even with Hydralisks. Now, there's 2 players, and my favorite Zerg players, Scarlet and Snoot, who I don't think anyone wants to make this as like their default go-to after scouting Sentry Immortal. But if you put down like 7 spine crawlers, 6 spine crawlers, it actually holds incredibly well against a push like this. The problem is, look at this, the layer's only just finished up. Hydralisk stand hasn't even been started. There's no Galil Reconstitution. There's not going to be Burrow. There's not going to be Tunneling Claws. And Stardust is already pushing. Time is not on Tefel's side. If you... I think, I just wish you would have put some spine crawlers down, because this isn't a situation where you're like, I could just skirt away with this and barely lose. This is like your game, your life may be over. Your tournament series may end right here. You are currently down 2 in the series. Everything is on the line for this, and that's so many sentries being warped in with that Warp Prism. Up to a total of 12. Wow. This is, I don't know. Tefel's going to get locked out of his base. Gonna try and come around from the other force field, but still won't even be able to ascertain that route. More force fields coming down here to block the roaches out. This is just looking so good for Stardust. Drones have been pulled. And ladies and gentlemen, this looks like it may go down in a 3-0 series unless Tefel can pull off a miracle hold. Still so many sentries standing. The force fields are still locking out a lot of these roaches, and the Immortals are just garnering the kills. Up to 7 on 1-5, and the other drones are being pulled against the Zealots. Not a situation you want to be in. Up to 14 workers killed, and the roaches are just not here. 10 Lings flooding out behind this, but a force field can go down on this ramp and cut out so many reinforcements. More sentries being warped in. I think he realizes the force field doesn't go. Oh, what? How does that cover the ramp? I call this is BS. I'm not even playing, and I'm mad at that force field. Anyways, looks like Tefel will clean up the sentries, but the Immortals are still standing. And to that, he doesn't really have an answer. Picking up inside the Warp Prism, Stardust going with some intense micro, up to almost 30 kills between these 2 alone. Last couple roaches going to be picked off, and those force fields will keep that ramp dead immediately, or infinitely, I should say. This natural base is looking pretty barren at this point. There's no drones, there's no roaches. Queen going to fall. Good game is called, and looks like Stardust will take this 3-0. 100, I don't know if it's dollars or euro, but $100 goes to him, 50 to Tefel. Not a bad second place, but second place nonetheless.